So was quite an important video for me. I wasn't supposed to start this channel saying these things, and these are things that I had planned to say, but they are not. They were not part of my plans to do now. Southern trees bearing strange fruit, blood on leaves. Black bodies always represented strength, power, and fierceness. For that same reason, black bodies were abused over history, and not because other bodies had more power or more intelligence, but because other bodies held guns, they held fire, and with them they held black souls in their armory and black blood in their hands. Slavery ended a couple of 100 years ago, and since then things have changed for the better. We are aware of racism, we're aware of sexism, we're aware of homophobia, and all these things really change the world. But if you throw a massive piece of rock on a lake, it will create ripples. And that's not anything that we can do anything about. It's just that ripples, they need to go until they calm down. I told my parents I would be an actor when I was 4. I grew up to the idea that I would never play any other parts than, you know, the cleaner and the driver, and, you know, that I would never be the romantic lead, or the rich man, or the prince. My mom, she was afraid in Brazil when we were born. She was afraid that we wouldn't like her because she was black.
E quando eu fiquei grávida, ainda no Brasil, nessa pressão, e eu sempre imaginava assim, nunca tive problema por estar casado com uma pessoa branca, mas eu sempre imaginava como é que seriam os meus filhos. Será que eles vão gostar de mim? Será que eles não vão ter vergonha de me apresentar como mãe deles? Né? Felizmente isso nunca aconteceu comigo, mas a gente ouve todos os dias de histórias, não é? Principalmente no Brasil, de pessoas que são atacadas por ser negros, são rechaçadas, não é? Na sociedade por serem negras.
Filma aí. Não, mas deixa ela ver. Deixa ela. Atrás. Minha mão. Pode gravar pra trás. Minha mão. Não faça esforço.
Giselle was beaten up in Lisbon because her daughter got into a bus without a bus pass. And she said, "We will pay you when we arrive to our destination," to the driver, and the driver refused to move, and the driver called the police, and the police took this woman and beat her so much. And when she came home, she looked like this. I feel I am extremely lucky for having the possibility of sharing my story and saying the things that I have to say, and being born in a world and living in a country that that's actually possible and plausible for me to do all the things that I am, you know, doing, and being a black man and being gay. But when I speak to people like my mom, it really makes me think that I live in such a bubble of privilege.
E quando eu cheguei para a Europa, em Portugal, nós estávamos à procura de casa para alugar, e normalmente o pai é que ia
Okay.
E artei a casa e olhavam e tudo bem. Ah, eu vou trazer a minha esposa pra ver. Quando eu chegava, não, a casa já foi alugada. Isso no norte de Portugal, não é? Onde as pessoas eram assim muito racistas.
The fact that ethnic minorities are more exposed to coronavirus than the white population, it's really scary. In the UK, 59% of the affected by coronavirus are melanin bodies. They're racial minorities in a country where 80% of the entire population is white or identify as white British. So how the hell is that possible that within the 20% of non-whites that this country holds, there's still a significant majority of cases amongst melanin people? It just makes me angry that in the middle of a pandemic, we still have to worry about racism, about things that should have been gone and should be in the past for a long time. George Floyd died after a clear video of him being abused by the police. And of course people are angry. People have to be angry. We have a history of abuse. It scares me to live in a world where presidents can lash out on nationalities, on race, and that people have the right to say all kind of absurd things. I honestly believe, or at least I like to believe, that mankind wants the best for everyone. Wants the best for those that surround them. I believe we all just want to live in peace. But then you look at the police force doing whatever they want with black bodies, and that makes me start to think it's all a mask. That black bodies are still held under the power of fire. That melanin bodies are still held by white powers. The power that behold us is the same power that brought us to the levels of inequality that we're living today. And those are the powers that still control us. And they are so effective to keep us in place until they're not. And as a homosexual or as a black man, I am the first to say that anger is what brought us here. Anger is what brought us to have the rights that we have today. Now, anger and violence, they should be different things. And anger should be used to the power of the pen, to the power of poetry, to the power of writing, to the power of talking, to the power of communicating. We as melanin people have more allies than we ever had. We have more people supporting us and loving us and giving us the space for us to speak out more than ever. There's no stronger proof of white privilege than historical privilege. On the same way that we learned to change history for good and develop ourselves to mold a new world, we have to learn that the ripples of history take a long time to disappear. And they won't just go. And we have to live through them. For as long as we can breathe, we together fight. For the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the leaves to drop. Here is a strange and bitter cry.